One shot the dream of you soulmate. Oh, please stay till the end. I have an important announcement. Kiyumi's point of view. Kiyumi knows Itsumo better than anyone else. That's why he knew as soon as he got to school in the morning that something wasn't right. It's not uncommon for the blonde setter to oversleep. However, it was unusual that Itsumo hadn't written to him yet. Kiyumi's boyfriend texts him at the latest when Kiyumi arrives at school. The first thing the wink spiker does every morning is wish his loved one a good morning, and the setter does the same. Kiyumi texted him several times but he never got an answer. It usually takes 10 to 20 minutes to get an answer. Except when Itsumo occasionally oversleeps, and it sometimes lasts 30 minutes to an hour at most. 1.5 hours, on the other hand, are very unusual. Kiyumi was very worried. He tried to call his lover but to no avail. When Kiyumi still didn't hear anything after the 3rd hour, he got very worried. He wanted to call Osamu and ask if Itsumo was okay, but the two didn't exchange their numbers. Kiyo, what's wrong with you today? You're in an even worse mood than usual. You hit practically no balls in practice this morning, and the ones you did hit were weak. I'm worried about Itsu. He still hasn't written to me. Should I ask Kagai if Itsumo is okay? Yes, that would be great. Can you text him right now? Don't stress, I'll text him already. Private chat between Toya and Kagai. Hey baby. Can you tell me how Itsumo is? Kiyo is worried because Tsumo hasn't gotten in touch with him. After 15 minutes, Motoya finally got an answer. Kiyumi was impatient all the time and couldn't concentrate on the class. Hey dear. I'm sorry I was in class and didn't see your message. I'm also worried about Itsumo myself. He didn't came to practice. He didn't even left the classroom once. Not even when Kiddo wanted to talk to him. If I see him, I'll tell him to reply to Sakusa. Thank you, baby. Do you know if something happened? Did he fight with Osamu? Sakusa. Hello Sakusa, I'm sorry but I don't know exactly. Osamu seems normal to me. I'll keep you updated if I find anything out. Thank you, Akage-san. Haha, that's weird to see from this chat. Haha, I know baby. Kiyumi hoped that Akage could calm him down a bit. But what he learned only worried him more. He wasn't just worried because he hadn't heard from Itsumo, but because he had a bad feeling in general. It was just a feeling, but he couldn't shake it off. He hadn't felt complete since he got up. He felt like he was missing something all day, and the fact that Itsumo hadn't been texting him all day only made the feeling worse. He didn't know what to do. He really wanted to see Itsumo, but it wasn't easy because of the distance. It took him about 8 hours by car to get to Hoyago, but by train it was only 5. But there were always so many people on his train. But if he wanted to see Itsumo, he would have no choice but to go by train because he wasn't allowed to drive yet. You don't think about going to Itsumo now. Auntie would kill you if you skip school. I know, but I have such a bad feeling. It started when Itsu and I ended our call yesterday evening. Since then I can't shake the feeling off that I'm missing something. I've been feeling so empty all day. And the fact that Itsu doesn't text me makes it unbearable. Even my phobia doesn't bother me as much as usual. Is it possible that Itsumo might have found out who his soulmate is? No, you know it's still a year early for that. And besides, if he'd had his mark by now, I should have had mine too. Unless he's not your soulmate? Kiyumi tensed up immediately when he saw the possibility that Itsumomiya, the love of his life, might not be his soulmate. Kiyo, don't listen to him, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm sure you and Tsumo are soulmates. But what if he's right and Itsu is destined for someone else? Will he leave me then? Kiyo, don't worry about that just yet. You'll think about it when the time comes. Mori, you know it's not that easy. What if he doesn't reach out to me because he wants to break up with me? Kiyomi was fidgeting with the finger. He was very nervous. He really wanted to go to Itsumo, hoping that his bad feelings aren't real. When he just wanted to leave the classroom and wanted to make his way to Itsumo, his teacher came in. He couldn't walk out anymore. The lesson was hell for him. He wanted nothing more than to go to Itsumo. During the lesson he noticed his phone vibrating. He opened the chat and was relieved that his lover wrote to him. But when he saw how unusual Itsumo was writing, he became even more concerned and increased his desire to see Itsumo. Private chat between Omi and Itsu. Hey Omi. Akagi. Told me you're worried? You don't need to. I'm fine, school is just harder than usual. No hearts? No kiss emojis? Hey baby. Are you sure everything is okay? You write differently than usual? You tell me when something isn't right? You know that I love you more than anything? Of course I'm just a bit stressed about school and training. I have to go. Atsu is offline. I love you. Kiyomi put down his phone and fought back tears. He didn't want to burst into tears in front of the whole class, but he didn't know what to do. Normally, Itsumo would never leave a conversation with Kiyomi without saying I love you. The moment the teacher finished the lesson, Kiyomi got up and went outside. Motoya ran after him. He tried to stop Kiyomi from getting on the next train and going to Hyogo. But Kiyomi was not dissuaded from going to Itsumo as soon as possible. Kiyomi took a few deep breaths to calm himself as he stood in front of the train station. He took a pill to help him manage his fears. Thanks to this pills he manages to get on a filled train. The medication was able to alleviate his fears a little, but they didn't go away completely. When Kiyomi was on the train, he could bear it better than usual. His worries about Itsumo were probably greater than his fears of the germs. Itsumo's point of view. Itsumo woke up in the middle of the night. He was confused for a moment. He wasn't usually one to wake up in the middle of the night. Rather the opposite. Osamu sometimes had to literally throw him out of bed to get him up. The moment he remembered his dream again, he ran to his brother's room and threw him out of his bed. What the fuck, Sumo? I think I had the dream? It is my Omi. Itsumo turned and showed Osamu his neck. You have a black and golden volleyball. It looks the same as the one on my neck, except that where mine is silvery, yours is golden. Itsumo knew the moment when he met Kiyomi that he was his soulmate. The dream only confirmed what he had always known. That night he dreamed of Kiyomi. He dreamed that Kiyomi and he played with a black and gold volleyball and won the Olympics with it. Soulmates dreamed of their soulmate the night of their 18th birthday and the morning after. They have a symbol engraved that resembled the dreamed on their neck. It was always below the hairline. The soulmate always had the dream the same night. However, what only a few knew is that it can happen earlier by twins. Osamu had his dream a week earlier than Itsumo. To their surprise, Suna didn't have the same dream that night, and in the morning he didn't have a symbol on his neck either. Do you think Omi had the dream too? I do not think so. You know that if you have the dream prematurely, it can take a few days for your soulmate to have the dream too. You should call Kiyomi and tell him about it. I'm sure he's happy about it. No way. You know how insecure he can be. When I tell him that I had the dream and he didn't have it, he wouldn't believe me that he is my soulmate. He would think he isn't my soulmate. Then what do you want to do? You can't lie about that. I know I will tell him. I just have to make it in person so that he will believe me. He always can tell when I'm lying. Do you think I can convince the teacher that I can skip school tomorrow? When you nag enough, probably. But I wouldn't worry about the teacher. You should worry about mom and dad. You know, I can convince them. More like you go on their nerves until they let you do whatever you want. Yes, that's exactly what I meant. The two made their way to school. They had to get up earlier because they had morning training. But Itsumo didn't attend on the training. Instead, he went to the teacher's office to talk to them. Even if he had attended in the training, he probably couldn't concentrate on it anyway. All he could think about was how to break the news to Kiyomi. He managed to convince the teachers that he wouldn't have to come to school the next day if he could finish all the assignments by the end of the day, and that he would promise to catch up on the day's lessons over the weekend. That was also the reason why Itsumo didn't write to Kiyomi. He was too caught up in finishing his assignments. He really wanted to make it so he could visit his lover over the weekend. But what he hadn't reckoned with was that Kiyomi had interpreted his efforts a little differently. He didn't went to practice so he could do everything. He showed everything he did throughout the day between lessons and breaks to his teachers, and they agreed that he didn't have to come to school the next day. Kiyomi's point of view. Can you please tell me where Itsumomiya is? At this time he usually has training. He should be in the gym. Can you please tell me where that is? It's right over there. You can already see the building? Kiyomi immediately made his way to the building that the boy had pointed to. However, when he came to the gym, he was quickly disappointed. He couldn't see Itsumo anywhere. He saw Osamu, and when Osamu looked at him, he waved him over. The gray twin apologized to the trainer and jogged over to Kiyomi. Kiyomi-kun, what are you doing here? Where is Itsu? Shouldn't he train with you? At UMMH, he had to discuss something with the teachers. You don't exactly sound sure about it. Osamu, tell me what's wrong with Itsu? He's been acting weird all day. He basically ignored me the whole day. He never did that before. He found. No, I don't have the right to tell you. What did he? Did he find his soulmate? You really should ask Tsumu that. He's in the teacher's office. It's in that building over there, on the second floor on the right. Would you tell me if Itsu cheated on me? Kiyomi barely whispered these words. Not loud enough for Osamu to understand exactly what he was saying, but loud enough for Osamu to roughly guess what it was. What? Nothing. Kiyomi turned and walked away. Hey. Kiyomi. Tsumu loves you a lot. Kiyomi turned and walked away. He had to hold back his tears. Even though Osamu didn't say it out loud, he knew Itsumo had the dream. It broke his heart that his loved one had the dream and he didn't. He knew what that meant. So my worst nightmare came true. You're not my soulmate. When Kiyomi came to the teacher's room, he saw Itsumo with a pretty girl. The girl grabbed Itsumo's upper arms and beamed all over her face. Kiyomi's blood boiled. He hated it more than everything else when someone touched his Itsu. He wanted to go to Itsumo and pull him into his arms. But the words that came out of the pretty girl's mouth stopped him. He froze and couldn't move from the spot. Oh my god, you know already who your soulmate is? I knew Itsu wasn't meant for me. Mika. Be quiet? Do you want the whole school to know about it? I haven't even told my boyfriend yet. Tears ran down Kiyomi's face. His heart shattered into thousands of little pieces. He wanted to turn and run, but he couldn't move. His whole body suddenly felt so heavy. Dude, what is wrong with him? This made Itsumo look over at Kiyomi. His eyes widened in surprise. He made a few steps towards Kiyomi. This made Kiyomi able to move again. He turned and ran away. He didn't know where he was running, just that he wanted to get away. Omi, please wait. Baby, stop. Kiyomi didn't stop. He kept running. He left the school grounds and ran on. Itsumo tried to follow him as fast as possible. When Kiyomi came to an intersection, Itsumo took the opportunity and caught up with Kiyomi. He grabbed his lover's arm and prevented him from going any further. Baby, please let me explain. What are you trying to explain to me? Why you ignore me all day? Or that you found out that I'm not your soulmate and didn't even bother to tell me? Kiyumi pulled down his mask in anger so Itsumo could see how much he hurt him. When Itsumo looked at Kiyumi's face and saw how angry he was, it brought tears to the setter's eyes. He wanted to surprise Kiyumi and make him happy by visiting him and sharing the news with him, but all he did was hurt and worry him. You know I love you more than anything. You could have at least told me that you had your dream. I wouldn't have been mad at you. I know we can't control who's meant to be with us, but you should have at least told me. If I had had the dream and you weren't the one in my dream, I would have told you. And I would have told you that I don't care who my soulmate is. Tears ran down his cheeks. He saw the tears in Itsumo's eyes and he wanted to take his Itsu's arms, but did he have the right to do so? After all, he wasn't his soulmate. Kiyumi took a deep breath. As long as it's not you, I don't care. I only want you as my soulmate. But as it seems, it's differently for. Kiyumi was cut off when soft lips landed on his. At first he resisted the kiss, but after a moment he melted into the kiss. He grabbed Itsumo's neck. As he touched it, a soothing warmth rushed through his body. In just a moment he forgot all his worries of the day. He no longer felt lonely and restless. His whole body felt warm. He felt like he could do anything as long as Itsumo was with him. That moment was perfect. He could hold the love of his life in his arms. When he wanted to break the kiss, the soft lips chased him and immediately pulled him back into a deep, longing kiss. At the second attempt to break the kiss, he pushed Itsumo lightly on the shoulders. I understand what you want to say with the kiss, but I need to hear it from your mouth. I never gave a fuck about the whole soulmate thing. Unless you're mine forever, I don't want it. But it doesn't matter 'cause you're mine forever. The dream was of you. I knew from the moment I saw you for the first time that you were my soulmate. But I didn't have the dream and I didn't get a mark either. I know. But please, can we talk about it at home? People are already staring. But as soon as we get to your house, I want you to explain everything to me. Of course, baby. Can I hold your hand on the way home? Why are you asking me that so suddenly? You never asked me that before. You're not usually mad at me, and you're not usually running away from me either. Kiyumi pulled his mask back up and took his lover's hand. The two headed home together. As Kiyumi let go of the fear of losing his loved one, he became more and more disgusted with the many germs he was subjected to. The medication kept it within limits, but they slowly lost their effect. The more disgusted he felt, the closer Itsumo clung to Kiyumi. The closeness of his beloved calmed him down a lot. When the medication completely lost its effect, he was forced to exchange his mask for a new one and to disinfect his hands. When he wanted to take his bag, he realized that he had left it at school. He started to hyperventilate. Itsumo knew immediately what was going on. He stood in front of Kiyumi and put his hands on Kiyumi's face. Baby, look at me. I'm going to pull the mask off you now. No. Calm down, baby. I'll take off your mask and replace it with a new one. Kiyumi relaxed and let Itsumo remove his mask. As soon as he wore the fresh and germ-free mask, he felt better. Itsumo took a small disinfectant bottle out of a jacket pocket. He took Kiyumi's hands and poured some disinfectant on them. He rubbed the cold liquid into his hands. Why do you have these things with you? I wanted to come to you right after school and tell you about the dream. But I'll tell you the rest when we get home. I just have to go to school to get my things. The two walked hand in hand towards school. When they were almost at the school, they saw Osamu and Suna coming towards them. Osamu was carrying Itsumo's school bag and the bag that Itsumo packed to travel to Tokyo. Here dumbass, you forgot your bags. Thank you jerk. Why did you run out of school like that? And why are you so strange today? But most importantly, why is the germaphobe here? I was worried about it, so I had the dream last night. Ah, that explains everything? Ha ha ha, good luck bro. Osamu and Suna walked toward Suna's home. I'm sleeping at Rin's today. Use protection. Fuck you, jerk face. Osamu held up his middle fingers as he walked away. Itsumo grabbed both of his bags and was about to continue walking, when Kiyomi grabbed a bag from his hand and swung the bag over his shoulder. Kiyomi took Itsumo's free hand and intertwined their fingers. When Itsumo opened the door, his father looked around the corner and greeted the two. He looked at the interlocked hands. You must be Sakusa Kiyomi, right? I'm Miyanobu. Yes, I am Sakusa Kiyomi. Nice to meet you, Miya-san. Itsumo's mother also came to the entrance and greeted the guest. Because of Kiyomi's phobia, the couple always met in Tokyo. That's why Itsumo's parents only got to know Kiyomi now, despite after nearly 2 years of dating. Sakusa dear, you don't have to be so formal with us. We're going to be your in-laws soon after all. You can address us by our first names. You're already part of the family even if we're just getting to know each other. Mom? Itsumo and Kiyomi blushed. Both have often thought about getting married, but have never talked about it. It's common for soulmates to get married. Even though Itsumo and Kiyomi were both sure that they were soulmates when they first met, they always had this fear of being wrong. That's why both didn't want to look too much into the future. The pain would only have been worse if they hadn't been soulmates. My name is Yumi, but you can call me Auntie. You can call me Kiyomi. Mom, Dad, can we do the meeting and get to know each other later? Omi wants to take a shower and then we have to talk. Of course we have the whole weekend to get to know each other. Itsumo showed his loved one the bathroom and gave him clothes that were too big for him. When Kiyomi was in the shower, he cleaned his bedroom and changed the sheets. When he had done everything, he also took a quick shower in the guest bathroom. Kiyomi showered longer than usual as he was feeling particularly disgusted. When he came out of the bathroom, he went into Itsumo's room. Since the setter wasn't in the room, he sat on the bed and wrote Motoya. Private chat between Mori and Kiyo. Itsu had the dream. What the hell? And you didn't? No? But I am his soulmate. How? You didn't had the dream? And you don't have a mark either? I know, but Itsu told me and I can feel it. I don't know how, but I just know he is my soulmate. What did Tsumu say? Nothing much yet. He is taking a shower and then we will talk. Oh, he is back. Have to go. Tell me how it went. Kiyo is offline. Kiyomi put down his phone. He opened his arms to signal Itsumo to come to him. Itsumo sat on Kiyomi's lap. He wrapped his arms around his lover's neck. He placed a soft kiss on Kiyomi's lips. Please baby? Can you please tell me now what this is all about? I know it's weird that you haven't had the dream yet, since you usually have it at the same time. But with twins it often happens that they have the dream earlier than usual and sometimes they can have it later. And they always have it around the same time. Samu had the dream 4 days ago. But Suna didn't have him either, although Samu dreamed of him. Suna only had him 2 days ago. We contacted a specialist and he told us that they don't know the exact reason for this, but that the soulmate can usually have the dream up to a week later. But he also said that a year earlier is very unusual. With twins it can be a few weeks earlier, with some even a few months, but he has never heard of it for a whole year. He told us that if you have a big desire for your soulmate, you may have the dream sooner. He suspects that Samu and I both triggered the dream to come earlier. That we are twins and I have a very big desire for you made the dream come so early. But why did Osamu have it then? If only your longing for your soulmate was so great? The specialist said that the older twin always has the dream first. He said that I probably triggered the dream for Samu because of my great desire to be with my soulmate, so that I can have the dream too. Then I should also get the dream in the next few days? Yep. I really want to be with you when you have it. That's why I didn't write to you today. I have agreed with my teachers and parents that if I manage to do all the assignments from morning to the end of the day, I won't have to go to school tomorrow. I wanted to come to you right after school. I'm sorry that I worried you. When I had the dream I was so excited that I immediately packed my bag and convinced my parents that I could come to you. But I didn't realize that I forgot to write to you. And I knew that you would go crazy if I told you on the phone. I knew you wouldn't believe it if you couldn't feel the connection. That's why I wanted to tell you personally. Okay, I wouldn't have believed you. Especially since I've had a bad feeling all day. I felt like I was missing something all day and as if I had lost something important. But why didn't you tell me that Osamu had the dream and you went to a specialist? Will you please promise me that you won't get mad at me? Of course. I had this little fear that it wasn't you. So I figured if it wasn't you, I could have pretended I didn't have the dream and stayed by your side until you found your true soulmate. Kiyumi beamed from ear to ear. He pulled Itsumo into a deep kiss. He lay on his back and pulled Itsumo with him. The fake blonde lay on top of Kiyumi, resting his head on Kiyumi's chest. Itsumo could hear the heart through his chest. Baby, your heart is racing. This is your fault. What else should my heart do when you say such things? Can I see the mark? Itsumo nodded excitedly. He sat up and turned his back to his lover. Kiyumi sat up and looked at the mark. He ran his hand over it. He leaned forward and kissed the mark. A wide smile spread across his face. Itsumo shivered when Kiyumi's lips touched his neck. I love it. It is so beautiful. And it suits us? Yes, it suits us perfectly. I am so happy that my dream was of you. I look forward to having mine. That night, Kiyumi had the dream. The year in which they still had to live separately was hell for them. They missed each other every day. As soon as they finished school, they moved to Osaka together. There they became part of the MSBY Black Jackals team. Kiyumi and Itsumo were very happy that they were finally living together. They really wanted to be on the same team so they never had to live apart again. 3 years after the dream they got married. They celebrated in their own way. After the ceremony, they went to a gym and played volleyball. They did what they loved the most with the people they loved the most. Osamu and Suna married 2 months later. The two moved to Nagano where Suna played for the EJP region. Osamu opened an onigiri restaurant there and fulfilled a big dream. The two twins met regularly. Despite the fights they had when they were young, they were very important to each other. They always supported each other. Neither would let the other down. Kiyumi and Itsumo achieved all their goals together. They went through everything together. When they won the Olympic Games in 2021 they were asked, "You guys were already a couple before you knew you were soulmates, right?" "Yes, we are dating since the first all-youth training camp we were in." "That's the same training camp we met each other." "Then you have achieved everything you have achieved in relation to volleyball together?" "Yes, but no. Everything we achieved after high school we achieved together, but before that we had to do everything without each other because we were in a long-distance relationship." "Is today your best day? Is being Olympic champions the best that happened to you, or is there a day or event that was even better?" "Yes, there were a day that was even better than today." The two spoke synchronously. They looked at each other. You could feel the love between them right away. The best day of our lives was when we had the dream of finding our soulmate. The day we knew 100% that we were soulmates. The best day in my life was the day I had the dream of you. Sniff, sniff. I'm cute? So that was the end of my little one-shot. So the announcement is, I started a collaboration with Nerdy Nakoma. Please check them out and come back next weekend for the video. We challenged each other to write a story AU we both didn't do yet. They did an Omega AU and I did Hanahaki AU. I was very happy about the collaboration. It was very fun to work with them. So please go check them out and don't forget to come back next Friday. I have an Instagram account where I will make updates and where I will upload smut scenes. Omis_it's99. Join my Discord server. I'm occasionally in the voice channel. If I am in the voice channel I will announce it on Insta. Link is in the description. I apologize for the grammatical errors. Write me a comment how you liked the story. Don't forget to follow. If someone wants a video, please let me know it. I will try to write your ideas as best as possible.